Hi, I'm John Alexandrov. I'm here today with Bob Kalagher, who's the president of Ross Mortgage Company here in Westboro, Massachusetts. And today we're going to talk about I'd say a hot topic, Bob. You know, probably all over television and radio these days, everybody's hearing about reverse mortgages. And I think the consumer's getting more and more educated about reverse mortgages. But our goal today is to educate some professionals as well and let them know why reverse mortgages can be a great financial tool, but also let them know why working with Ross Mortgage is also to their benefit. So Bob, first let's talk a little bit about Ross Mortgage, the history of Ross Mortgage. Of course, you've been the president for a while now, but Ross Mortgage has a long history.
Yeah, we've been in business now for going on 12 years, and I've been in the business myself since the late 80s.
Wow. So in that time, Bob, you've seen a lot of things come and go.
Yeah, we've seen the ups and downs, all sorts of products come and go.
Right, but this one seems to have some staying power. I mean, reverse mortgages are becoming more and more popular. I mean, not that you're hiring some fancy actor like you might see on television these days, promoting reverse mortgages, but this has some staying power, and I know the government does also offer some guarantee on reverse mortgages as well.
Well, that's the great part of the reverse mortgage program is it really should be part of a senior's overall retirement planning strategy. With so many baby boomers having the majority of their income or majority of their assets tied up in their house, this is an easy way to tap it without ever having to leave the home.
Bob, in the past, maybe financial professionals might have been a little hesitant to recommend reverse mortgages as an overall tool, part of a senior's financial planning. And we say seniors, I mean, it's really people anyone over the age of 62 who owns a home, I think, 65 may qualify, for a reverse mortgage. So these days, that's really not considered to be a senior. And I think that's an important point, is it can help in financial planning in many other ways, because at age 65 these days, 62, 65, people have a life expectancy of another 15, 20 years in many cases. So having all that equity tied up in their home may not be the best financial decision for them.
Right. Well, with all the turmoil in the markets over the last few years, and especially the baby boomers having to put kids through college, maybe having to deal with a job loss for a while, a lot of them tap the equity in the house. So what we're seeing for the most part now isn't people tapping equity for income.
Yeah.
It's tapping using a reverse mortgage to actually pay off the debt on the house so they can continue to live there without a mortgage payment.
So Bob, for those professionals who aren't that familiar with the process on a reverse mortgage, they may be familiar with the process obviously on a regular mortgage or a refi or a purchase or that kind of thing. Is the process that much different for a reverse mortgage?
It's a little bit more simple. I mean, you're still going to have your standard closing. You're going to have to get an appraisal. There's not many conditions that we have to get from the customer. The only real difference is going to be, well, two differences. One would be there is no payment on the loan,
right.
But the customers have to go for home buyer or housing counseling, specifically through a reverse company before they can actually do the mortgage.
Okay, so in other words, they have to be educated, which is great. But this is intriguing. I mean, it's not primarily based off of credit score. It's more based off of equity and education?
And age.
And
That's
age.
really all it is.
Okay, so equity, age, and then being educated about the process.
Yes.
So, I mean, you take a look at that in comparison to somebody who's in that age category who might want to refinance, versus getting a reverse mortgage. There could be some advantages to having the reverse mortgage versus a traditional refinance.
True.
All right, fantastic. So, Bob, in terms of geography, location, where is Ross Mortgage able to write reverse mortgage loans?
All of New England with the exception of Vermont.
Okay, so, and Bob, I know that your dad actually is heading up the reverse mortgage division here at Ross Mortgage.
He is.
He's got about 30 years experience in the loan industry.
He does.
As a loan officer, as a manager, as an owner, because he founded Ross Mortgage before you took it over a few years ago.
Yep.
So this is somebody who has almost 30 years experience in the mortgage industry. Again, he not only is he experienced, but he's very, very savvy. And I've known your dad for over 25 years myself, personally. And he's an incredibly honest, genuine person. I don't think you could have chosen a better person to head up the reverse mortgage division.
Thank you, I agree.
Now, Bob, I know you also have some materials available. We have this great brochure on reverse mortgages. We also have this fantastic DVD. These are available not only by people, professionals or consumers calling here to Ross Mortgage, but they're also available on a website that was created about reverse mortgages for Ross, and that's rossreverse.com. So www.ross.com. REIC.com. You'll be able to see the full brochure, be able to watch the video that's on this DVD. And of course, Bob, people could also call into the office here and get copies of these as well. So
Absolutely.
How do they do that?
They can call the main number at 888-986-0060, or they can just go to the website as well.
So Bob, I also want to touch on, I know that you're already dealing with some insurance professionals, some attorneys, some CPAs, some financial planners, and do want to talk a little bit more about, why somebody who's a professional should choose to work with Ross Mortgage, versus maybe their client comes in and asks a question and they say, well, I saw the 800 number, that TV actor who used to be a senator or something like that is now on television, call there. Why should they be doing business with Ross versus referring their client somewhere else?
One of the biggest reasons is going to be local, especially when you're dealing with senior citizens. A lot of them can't be bothered with emails or going to websites, that sort of thing. And they want to physically be able to go to an office if they'd like, or have a loan officer, in which case it would be one of several here. They would actually go to the borrower's house to go over all the documentation with them. It's not just a phone call with somebody in the Midwest or the Deep South trying to explain something to somebody, which can be a little complicated at times.
Well, Bob, I know you and I have spoken about this. People who are considered to be seniors in the age category of mid-60s to early 70s, the world has changed. That's not necessarily a senior anymore.
Right.
However, there may be some borrowers who are a little bit older than that, who might be mid-70s, late 70s, even, who knows, 80s.
Yep.
And many times, one of the goals there is to educate their children.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things that Ross Mortgage really understands, is that sometimes, financial decisions that are being made for estate planning decisions that are being made for an older couple or an older individual isn't necessarily it's not the decision of that person, but there are other people who are involved in the process.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that I know that Ross does, is you're willing to educate the entire family or anyone else who's involved in the process as well.
It's a hands-on approach as opposed to a telemarketing approach.
Now, Bob, I know you've consistently said in videos that you and I have created over the past couple of years promoting Ross Mortgage about the atmosphere here at Ross Mortgage. You just used the word family. Now, it's a real family atmosphere here at Ross Mortgage, and I would like to talk about that a little bit because, even if someone were to refer to another lender, I typically find a lot of lenders are just kind of, by the numbers, let's just process everything according to, what our internal systems are. And although you may be dealing with a person, it's not an intimate or as genuine a relationship as working with your staff here.
Right. Our clients are clients for life. And in many cases, the reverse mortgages we're doing now are loans that we did, 10, 20 years ago for borrowers that were buying, their second or third home, and they've since retired or moved on, and now they're using this part of their retirement strategy. Okay,
Bob, so I'm going to close things out today by saying, of course, you can go to the website, rossreverse.com. There, the brochure can be downloaded, the DVD can be watched. There's also contact information. There's an 800 number there for you to call to get in contact with Ross. But certainly, Bob, I'd like people to contact you directly. I mean, you're the president of the company. Those of you who are estate planners, who are financial planners, in the financial industry, attorneys, accountants, anybody who's involved in the education process or taking care of clients, and certainly Bob's the person that you want to talk to. So Bob, how do people contact you directly?
They can get me at my direct line, which is 508-986-6111.
Okay, Bob, thank you.
Thanks, John.